Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the Wicked Bloodline team with the new support memory from completing the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone stages, because as the title, I don't know exactly how I'm going to word it, but as the title is basically going to reflect, I feel like this team could actually be the best team in the game right now. Now, obviously as a global player, I am referring specifically to global. JP, there is of course the argument for the Trunks and Vegeta team because their leader skill covers so many of like the top units in the game, right? But especially when it comes to extreme teams, this team is absolutely insane. So this is the way I like to run this team. I've jumped into the Red Zone Shadow Dragon stage because honestly anything that isn't like a Red Zone stage, you can't contain the power of this team. Like, you probably will get to the end of the event before you even have like everybody fully built up, which is kind of crazy, especially with the support memory, because obviously it's giving everybody the ridiculous buff. So we're going to go ahead and we didn't get the best starting rotation because of course unfortunately we ended up with the both the coolers on the first rotation, but I'm going to still stick to my general strategy. I've talked about this in my previous videos. What I like to do in these more difficult events, even though I know cooler can handle it, but in these more difficult events, in the early turn, I like to deliberately get the 12 key super with STR cooler, because then he does less damage, so he can potentially do more attacks before the enemy dies. Because obviously with STR Cooler you want to do a certain number of attacks to not only max out his passive, but obviously also unlock his active skill as well. And then of course, you know, in the early turns you might get caught with a stray super or whatever. If you're getting his 12 key super, even if you get really bad luck with the RNG on his additionals and you don't get any additional super attacks, you have still done one 12 key super, which is the one that raises his defense. So we don't need to worry about that here apparently, because we're just going to do 3 12 key supers anyway. So yeah, Cooler dishing out the damage. Obviously he's going to tank normals to double digits, and then this is, I think it's, did I end up putting my Cooler in the last slot? I did bring a rainbow friend as well. My Cooler is rainbow. I probably do have a bit of bias towards the team because this celebration treated me so well when it comes to the extreme side. I rainbowed STR Cooler in less than 2,000 stones. I got 2 dupes for Metal Cooler in around 1,500 to 2,000, I think. And then last night I decided to do one final rotation. You guys probably saw the tweet if you follow me on Twitter. I did one extra rotation because in my entire time summoning on that banner, I didn't pull a single dupe for Janemba. And my LR Janemba only has 1 dupe, so I really, really wanted another one. And of course, I not only was not able to get it, but I pulled another copy of the Metal Cooler. So my Metal Cooler is now at 90%, which is pretty crazy. So we got a good amount of support on this team. Look at this. Turn 1 for STR Cooler, 320k defense. Metal Cooler, 312k. So I mean, I actually really like using Metal Cooler as a floating unit. Now obviously there are multiple ways you can build this team. I am using the LR Metal Cooler as the main leader and then bringing a friend STR Cooler, because remember STR LR Cooler, his 200% leader skill does not cover the Metal Coolers. So Metal Cooler has Wicked Bloodline 200%, so obviously that covers everybody. So both him and the AGL one are getting 370% in total, and everyone else is getting the full to 400%. Now, you could run double LR Metal Coolers, but because STR Cooler is just so ridiculously powerful, obviously the team is much, much better if you have one on both rotations. And of course, the other thing is, remember that you can only revive once. So if you have 2 Metal Coolers, as soon as one of them revives, you know, you've lost out on that extra, like, bit of utility. So, was it, I guess, yeah, this is turn 3, so it was actually Metal Cooler that was in slot 7. That is unfortunate, because obviously you do want to get him built up nice and early. But, I mean, turn 1, no support, linked up with Cooler. He's got 314k defense. They share 5 links, and then we are picking up an extra one from Golden Freezer in slot 3 as well, so that is good. Don't need to worry about getting supers for Golden Frieza. Literally, the Golden Frieza, the AGL Golden Frieza on the team right now, he will be replaced with the LR Golden Frieza when he comes out, and then this team will just be insane. Like, that AGL Golden Frieza is the weakest unit on the team offensively, but obviously he's a very, very strong defensive unit, so he's still worth having on the team. Especially for these more difficult events, right? Because even if you're just floating him and he's not really providing a lot of damage, it kind of saves you from those very annoying red zone runs where they suddenly decide to super attack the unit in slot 3, and depending on who that is, especially if you're running a build where you are running support units, you could potentially get taken out by that super attack. So I do like having Golden Frieza as a float, and it allows you to once you do get the revival of Metal Cooler, if it does occur, you can then float him instead and have Golden Frieza in slot 1 on that other rotation, and that actually works out really, really well. So this is an interesting rotation though, because we have the full STR, but look at our boy LR Cooler. So his biggest weakness when he first came out, and the reason why a lot of people put Birdcoo over him, was his start of turn defense and the fact that he needs to get those additional supers to have really good defense. But now that STR Cooler has his Easy A, and I mean Cooliza he hasn't built up a lot by this point, so his defense is obviously not looking super impressive here. But LR Cooler literally has like just under 500k defense at the start of the turn. So as soon as he gets 112 key super, he's going to be over 600k defense. Like, unless Oceanus super attacks him in slot 1, he's not going to take any damage. And then, of course, STR Cooler has over 400k defense. We're going to super attack with him as well. So he's going to buff his own defense up quite a significant amount. And then Cooliza, hopefully, is going to get multiple attacks. So there you go. There's Cooler tanking in the red zone against an AGL enemy for double-digit damage. And then with the double support, just throws out a 12.5 million attack stat, you know. Sadly, no crit, which we do need to get against AGL units. And then, of course, the other added bonus for Cooler is once you have done enough attacks, he gets a guaranteed additional 12 key super. So you don't have to worry too much about the RNG, because there we didn't get any, and he still only took just over 100k from an AGL super attack, which is actually really good. Now, against Red Zone Broly, because I've done a couple of videos now since STR Cooler came out, at the Rainbow level with Big Bad Bosses active, even without a support unit on the turn, Cooler only needs to do one 12-key super, and he tanks Broly's normal attacks for double digits. Which, as I already said, if he's fully built up, he gets a guaranteed additional super anyway. So, against Red Zone Broly, as long as you get to the AGL phase and you're fully built up with STR Cooler, then he's getting that 12-key super that allows him to tank for double digits. Now, obviously, if he only gets the one 12-key super and then gets hit with a super attack, obviously, you know, he's going to get wrecked, because hardest hitting AGL boss in the game hitting an STR unit. I mean, what do you expect? But we do have a lot of ways on this team now to supplement that, like the STR Cooler. I mean, that rotation with the STR Cooler and Cooliza, our man was sat at, what, just under 500k defense at the start of the turn. But that was him not fully built up. I mean, when you start a turn and you see the active skill become available for Cooler, that is an indication that he's almost fully built up. Because if I double check his passive, I believe the numbers are fully built up is 10 attacks and the active skill is 8. So if you start a turn, do we have this one? So yeah, we start a turn, we get the active skill. So we know we've attacked at least 8 times, I think it is. Is it 8 for the active? Yeah, 8 for the active skill. And then the passive is, yeah, 10, because it's 10% per attack up to 100. So this man is absolutely insane. Yeah, he's at 520k at the start of the turn now with only one support unit, which is pretty good, I would say. So we'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll grab these for you, and we'll grab these for you. So obviously the Wicked Bloodline support memory helps as well, but I actually genuinely, like, unless you get really bad RNG and, like, you know, turn 1 STR Cooler takes like a type disadvantage super, or Cooliza does, or something like that, I actually honestly feel like there's no content in the game available at the moment, apart from, I guess, Cell Max, but Cell Max is an anomaly because of the way that event works. But there's like no event in the game that actually can stand up to the power of this team when it's actually working the way it's supposed to. Like when you've got the Wicked Bloodline support memory. I mean, look at Cooler just absolutely going off here. I think we only needed one additional 12 key that then was a crit, and he would have just taken him out. And then, of course, STR Cooler, he's only stacking defense, but even so, his attack stat is looking pretty good. It is a shame that his additional chance is locked behind the enemy being attack or defense lowered. But I've said this already in videos. I actually feel like if he just had that as part of his base kit, he'd actually be too powerful. Because he's already insane. Like, he's already the best easy ATUR in the game anyway. And so, yeah, very, very crazy combination. So, we're going to get the finish here with Metal Cooler. Is the LR Metal Cooler even fully built up at this point? I'm actually not sure if he even is. But we'll go ahead and do this. We won't get a super for Cooliza, but it's fine because he's going to get killed by Metal Cooler here. Metal Cooler is fully built up yet because we didn't get the attack or defense up icon. And then look at that. He is getting the support from Cooliza, but yeah, nearly 12 million attack stat on a unit that, if he gets killed, revives, regardless of your HP. Like, Metal Cooler is not the slot 1, like, defensive god that we wanted him to be, but he is still a very, very effective slot 1 unit. And, of course, he is actually still very good defensively, especially after super attacking. So, yeah, look at this, 578k. I think that is this cooler fully built up now, this my LR Cooler. STR Cooler's at 550, and that's without a support unit in slot 3, because Metal Cooler does not provide any support. Do you get any extra link? No, we're only missing legendary power. So let's go ahead, and I want to make sure we're not skipping it, because I do love it so much. Let's go ahead and do the active skill. Now, the active skill with LR Cooler is a coin flip, because mine has 25 crit, right? So it's 50% chance, 50-50 shot. If he crits, he does so much damage with his active skill. It's actually insane. But, let me guess, he's not going to crit? Yeah. But, I mean, he still did 9 million damage and cancels out the first attack, which means we can just put him in slot 1, and he's going to go off. Now, bear in mind, he did nearly 9 million damage without critting. I have seen his active skill when it crits against like AGL Broly doing like 16 million. And speaking of 16 million, that was his attack stat for the start of this turn. Again, right, I can't say no support because STR Cooler provides support, but no extra support unit in slot 3. So he could look even better than this. But he did a 16 million attack stat. The guaranteed additional super, because he's attacked enough times, was 10 million. And then, of course, his defense at this point is now, what, like over 700, possibly even 800k at this point. So he takes 100k from that super, which just shows you how hard these end of red zone bosses hit. I think the Nova super attack, is it like 800k or 900k, something like that? So, pretty good for a type neutral unit there. And then, of course, AGL Metal Cooler, like I said, he hasn't really had the chance to shine because he's a floating unit in this particular setup. He's not even fully built up. You can see from the fact he's taking those attacks now and the icons are coming up. But obviously when you're running physical Metal Cooler on the team, and especially when you're running him like in slot 1, then obviously you're not getting the full potential out of that AGL Metal Cooler, because you have to have him floating so that he's actually able to get links active and stuff like that. But he does have a good link set. He has big bad bosses, so even though he's not providing support, he's providing a good link set. He hits really hard, he has good defense, he heals at the end of the turn if he gets hit. So I mean, you could replace him with somebody else. I was hoping that the free-to-play Metal Cooler EZAs were going to be really good, which, to be fair, they are, in the hopes that one of them could maybe replace him as like a support unit on the team. So you could run the STR free-to-play Metal Cooler out of the 5 type ones, not the other one, the separate one, who for some reason is worse than all of those ones, because he's a support unit that gives 20%, and if you can get 3 rainbow orbs for him, he gives 40%, which is obviously very, very strong. So this is going to be quite the turn here. Yeah, look at this. Do I need to say anything else? Fully built up LR Cooler with these support units who are perfectly runnable. Now, obviously, Kuliza hasn't really gotten as much stack as we would have liked, but fortunately, the final enemy is physical, and he's not taking any attacks on this turn anyway. So, LR Cooler at the start of the turn is at 647k defense. So, when he gets the guaranteed additional 12 key super that's part of his kit, he's going to be over 800k defense. And so then if he gets another one, and then especially if he gets another one after that, we are going to be past 1 million defense with him, which is pretty crazy when you think about how much damage he's going to do on this turn as well. That's the only thing is STR Cooler, the TUR, is like the perfect support unit for this team, but it makes me like not want to ever transform him. Because once he transforms, he can start dishing out a crazy amount of damage as well. I'm not going to hit the nodes here because I want to see if LR Cooler can get the maximum amount of attack. So I don't want this guy to do too much damage. But yeah, he's really, really good transformed. But then you're missing out on 50% support for the LR, which I feel like is a pretty significant amount, right? I mean, double digits from the super, and then... Oh, okay. 19.3. So almost 20 million, and then his additional, which is guaranteed, is 12 million. So yeah, he's now put out over 30 million attack stat worth of power, and then look at that, an additional normal attack with a crit did 5 million damage on a normal attack. Like, there you go. So this team is absolutely ridiculous. Just a casual no item run against the red zone Shadow Dragons. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I can't get enough of this team. Like I say, there's no events in the game that are really even hard enough for you to really, like, not only get their full potential, but actually even kind of remotely struggle. So, yeah, this team is absolutely insane. I love it. I'm looking forward to Heroes this year. Golden Cooler is going to get an easy A, so he could become a must-run support unit. I did do a video about it the other day with the fact they've released all these metal coolers. We could see Golden Metal Cooler coming with the Hero Celebration this year, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is Wicked Bloodline the best team in the game at the moment? It definitely looks like it after that showcase. That 19 million is actually the highest attacks that I've seen from Cooler. That was very, very good. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.